Okay, we are going to go ahead and call the Martinez Unified School District Board of Education meeting to order November 3rd, 2025 at 5 p.m. Do we have any public comments for closed session? It looks like I have one. Jackie Benton. That's for public comment, okay. Do we have any public comment for closed session? Nope, okay. In that case, we will adjourn to closed session. from closed session. Will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please, Matthew? Do we have any changes to the agenda?
I would like to make a proposal that at the top part of our agenda, we make an ongoing statement that reiterates that Martinez Unified School District is a sanctuary district committed to the safety and well-being of all of our students. I think it's important that we continue to support our families and assure them that we care about them and that we have procedures in place to ensure the safety of their children.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Second. I make a motion to approve the
Yes.
agenda as amended.
Okay.
I'll second.
Student rep?
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Comments from our student representative?
All right. Las Juntas Elementary held their annual fall dance on October 17th with a great turnout of bullpups and costumes. Thank you to the bullpup community for supporting Las Juntas Elementary at their last Dine and Donate at JP's Bistro. Las Juntas also held a math night and over 40 students and parents participated. Big thanks to Mathnasium for helping Las Juntas with their math night. The Las Juntas Elementary Dine and Donate is on Wednesday, November 12th at Mi Casita, and Las Juntas Spirit Week starts on November 17th. The John Muir Elementary PTA did an excellent job planning and hosting their Timberwolf Trot. They raised over $30,000. Way to go, Timberwolves! The John Muir Elementary family community had a fantastic time this Saturday at their annual PTA-run Trunk or Treat Festival. John Muir TKers are going on alphabet tours where they engage in activities that involve textiles, sensory activities, group projects, play, and building. John Sweat Elementary second graders took a historic trip to the Black Hawk Museum. Also, John Sweat fifth graders did a hands-on lesson with Baking for Good, where they learned about the process of making bread and made some of their own. Community science has also started up in all grade levels. The John Sweat Elementary PTA meeting is on November 4th at 7 p.m. Now for my comments. So I was sick at the last meeting, so you guys get to hear double today, so I bet you're so excited. I had a great time attending the final two Alhambra football games. Halloween was a great time, and I participated in the Alhambra costume contest, which was really fun. My cross-country season is wrapping up, and I'll be done after just this Saturday. This is college application season. It's been pretty stressful, but those will all be submitted hopefully by early January, beginning of next semester. I'm having a great senior year, and I'd like to thank all my teachers for being really easy on the homework while we get through this stressful season. And that's all for me.
So what was your costume for Halloween?
So I actually had two, but at school I was a performative male.
Okay, great.
Could I ask you to explain?
Okay, with that, do we have any employee organization reports from MEA? No. Okay, sorry, my mouse is not working here. How about from CSEA? No? Okay. Comments from the PTA? Correspondence? We have something, I believe.
Thank you, Trustee President. So we received correspondence from the County Office of Education summarizing the findings from this year's Williams Settlement visits. So 4 schools were visited: Alhambra High School, John Muir Elementary, Las Juntas Elementary, and Martinez Junior High. Each school was reviewed and the following key points were noted. For instructional materials, all classrooms were found to be sufficient and to have district-adopted standards-aligned textbooks. School facilities, All previously identified issues were resolved prior to the report. For School Accountability Report Card SARC, the SARC report card accurately reported instructional materials used in schools and the condition of facilities. For teacher misassignments and teacher vacancies, the data on teacher misassignments and vacancy was submitted on time and is expected to be publicly available in December. For uniform complaints, there were no complaints filed during the 24-25 school year. And lastly, Superintendent of Schools Lynn Mackey emphasized her sincere appreciation for the board, district administration, and staff at each school for their collaboration and their efforts to uphold the intent and spirit of the Williams settlement. This concludes the correspondence report. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job to everyone who was involved in that, which is a lot of our teachers, administrators, so great job. Let's see. Public comments. The public may address the board regarding any item within the jurisdiction of the Board of Education of the Martinez Unified School District. For items on the agenda, the public may comment at the time the board considers the agenda item. For items not on the agenda, the public may comment under public comment. These comments are limited to 3 minutes each. 20 minutes have been allocated for this portion of the agenda. Additional time is allowed at the end of the meeting if there was not enough time to speak during public comments. To comply with the Brown Act, the board may listen to comments from speakers, but can neither discuss nor take action on issues presented. Members of the board are very limited in their response to statements or questions by persons commenting on items not on the agenda. Looks like we have a couple of public comments. We have Jackie Benton.
Thank you. My name is Jackie Benton, and I'm a teacher at Martinez Junior High. I'm also the bargaining chair for MEA. Members of the Martinez Education Association are dedicated to our students. We are proud members of the East Bay Coalition for Student Success, and this year we are focusing on improving the needs of our students, such as safety, reducing class sizes, ensuring better learning environments for all. We believe that our bargaining proposals promote high-quality education for all students, including children with disabilities. We also know it's important to continue investing in attracting the very best educators in Martinez so that educators want to stay in Martinez. Any budget cuts that need to happen must be from the top so that they don't impact our students or classrooms. We are looking forward to a speedy resolution in negotiations. Thank you.
Thank you. And then we also have Mary Rittenhouse.
Good evening. MEA was surprised to see that negotiations were not part of the closed session agenda items tonight. Given that the next bargaining session occurs before the next board meeting, we hope that our school board is giving their input and guidance. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Do we have any changes to the consent calendar?
No changes to the consent calendar.
Just want to acknowledge the gift donation from the Philanthropic Ventures Foundation grants. Do I have a motion for the consent calendar?
I move to approve the consent calendar. Second.
Student rep?
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Okay, first thing on the discussion is review of CSBA updates, September 2025. Dr. Patrick.
Thank you, Trustee President. So we have several board policies here, and again, the purpose of this review is for our first read. I actually have members of the cabinet team who worked on some of the policies with me, and so if there are specific questions, I may call someone up to speak to the questions that are being asked. If I'm unable to answer them, I'll have some backup. The first policy, board policy and administrative regs 3515, which was for campus security. And most of the policy changes were just changes to the editing and wording of the policy, updating it to align to what happens now. There were one specific change in particular is that a safety committee can function and apply a multidisciplinary team to address threatening behaviors. So whereby in the past, there might have been one single person who was directly responsible. Now a team can be created that shares the responsibility of addressing any challenges, any safety issues that might occur. So that's a difference that we thought would be really good to update in our board policy, which gives us more leeway to address safety concerns. With regards to the administrative regs, basically more language changes as opposed to some of the things that are currently, some of the language that's currently reflected. It's just making some adjusted language changes and not really massive major changes to the policy. And I will say that when we went through most of these, a lot were cleanup language with some more specific things that we also had to add, and I'll call those out as they go through. So it may appear that I'll go through quickly, but I'll try to call out if there was a change as I'm going through the process. With board policy and administrative regs 3515, recovery for property damage. So new language, there is new language which authorizes the board to identify a specific amount of what will be compensated or what we would give, as opposed to what's in board policy. We can make that adjustment if the board so chooses to do so. We wanted to add this language because we wanted leeway. We didn't want to be restricted to a prior amount, but we wanted to have more options for the board to decide based on situations what that may be. With regards to, and the same thing for administrative regs language, just updating language to reflect current action. So, they may add a word or a clause in there that is not really changing what we already have in place, but just, we always tend to like the new updated language because we think it just makes it more current with what practices are throughout the state of California. For administrative regs 3516.1 for fire drills and fire, no change. We will just continue doing what we're doing, just updated language, so no changes there. For board policy and administrative regs 5113, absences and excuses, no changes, just updating the language to apply to current practice. No significant changes in our policy. The same thing for administrative regs for attendance and supervision, which is AR 5113.11, just updating in general terms, but no major changes to our policy. For board policy and administrative regs 5113.12, the district school and attendance review board, just essentially word changes, no change to the policy, just updated wording to reflect current practice. The same for administrative regs and board policy for 5113.2, which is work permits, just changes in the wording of the board policy. For board policy and administrative regs 5141, healthcare emergencies, we are now required to have trauma kits. With the exception of the trauma kits, it's mostly word language changes. And so we are identifying what we need to do to have those trauma kits on hand. There's a specific number outlined in policy. If you have more than 200 students, you have to have X number of trauma kits. So we'll make sure that our schools are aligned to the new policy, because the trauma kits is new. And it's primarily for anything like an emergency. If someone is severely injured and has excessive bleeding, the trauma kit would have items that would help stop the bleeding, like a tourniquet or other items that may help. Let's see. Board policy, AR regs 5141.4, which is child abuse prevention and reporting. That required us to update new contact information and address information that was in our old policy, so that is being updated with new names and address. And also for the policy itself, updated language on how to report for child abuse prevention. So there's some updated language there. For safety, language cleanup, primarily board policy and AR regs 5142, primarily board policy and cleanup language. And also, if I could just go back for the record, Nikki, thank you, to board policy for recovery of property loss or damage. The board policy is a new policy. So it is new with the new language around amounts for it. That is new. So I wanted to clarify that. I just saw that in my notes. So I apologize for any confusion around that. For board policy, I'm in the 6,000s now. Board policy on work-based learning. They're just language changes and also work experience changes. So the new policy will reflect current practice and law. And then lastly, for governance standards, if you review 9005, it's primarily word changes, change to fit some of the procedural changes, but the general language in the board policy is reflective in our current policy. So it just further aligns. And this concludes my update on board policies, and of course, I'll entertain any questions if the board has questions or if there are any comments.
Okay. Do you have any questions? Trustee Leal?
So much of our nursing staff, I believe we've reduced it, and so I'm wondering with the trauma kits, who's going to be using those at the site, and have they been trained to use the trauma kits?
We'll have to make sure for implementation that that the school sites are appropriately trained. Whoever the designee is for that site will have to make sure, because that is something that we didn't have to include before. So it's new, so we're gonna meet and discuss it and then roll out to make sure that we're in compliance.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you know what's different about just like the first aid kits that we already have, and then our Narcan and things that are already on campuses?
You know, we were doing some research with what they have in them, and Janelle, I don't know if you have any specific information. I know you were going to look into it. I don't know if you've had a chance to yet, but if you could speak to that, if you have information, I would appreciate it.
We did a very brief cursory look when we saw this new language to verify that this is actually a requirement for us. And it is. There was new legislation passed, and when there's a building with more than 200 occupants, we have to have a certain number of kits, trauma kits available, as Dr. Patrick said. And of course, there are companies that are selling these trauma kits prepared for schools. These would be used in conjunction with like the emergency supplies that we keep on hand in case of an event that might happen. You know, I think it's just like a lot of our precautionary activities that we take around training. These are for worst case scenario kind of situations. Like Dr. Pachter said, there might be a tourniquet in there. We don't fully know yet what the requirement is. They are kind of like just pre-packaged supplies that are available. We are not doctors. We're not going to be performing medical procedures on individuals, but it's for stopping blood if it's, you know, we don't have immediate access to fire or life saving personnel. So
Yeah, so I also had a question. So are you going to have, I mean, I'm assuming they're going to have to be replaced also periodically and things like that and have more than one person trained in it. But when you have those currently, like even first aid kit, is it just in one spot or do you have at the schools, like for example, the elementary schools, things like that? I'm just curious how many, or is it just at the main office where you have that supply in case something happens?
there are emergency supplies in every classroom.
Okay, perfect, great. Love to hear that, thank you. Matthew, did you have any questions you wanted to ask?
Nope.
Okay, great. All right, well, that sounds good. Thank you. Let's see. Next, we have public comments? No? Okay. Positive behavioral interventions and supports, update MUSD framework of focus, Patty O'Malley.
Hi, good evening. I'm going to be giving a kind of a brief overview of what the positive behavior interventions and supports are. We call it PBIS. You hear a lot of acronyms tonight during this presentation. So Joe, you want to? Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay. So PBIS is basically a framework. It's not a program. It's a framework to improve school climate and student outcomes. It promotes proactive strategies for defining, teaching, and supporting student behavior, appropriate student behavior. It emphasizes prevention more than reaction, and it aligns with MTSS, our multi-tiered system of support. Okay. So why do schools and districts want PBIS? It really improves student engagement, improves safety and attendance. It reduces office discipline referrals and suspensions, promotes equitable discipline practices across all student groups, and it builds positive, predictable school environments. And the goal is to increase instruction time and student achievement. So the goal really of PBIS is to teach and reinforce positive behaviors to create a safe and inclusive school environment. So, oops, did that go farther? Sorry. Okay. So, like I said, they want to improve. The PBIS cohort is a 4-year model. And so it's done over 4 school years. And in each year, they'll meet with the PBIS trainers, a team at each site will, and they will be going, it's a slow rollout, but it goes and it starts with year 1. They'll meet 4 times a year with the trainers. And in between of those meetings, they'll be having committee meetings, they'll talk about it at staff meetings, so they'll be working through all of this throughout the 4 years. So the first year is really considered a launch and foundations, and that's where the trainers will meet with the teams. They're going to be building their school-based PBIS teams, which I'll go over a little bit more in the next slide. They're going to start teaching them how to define school-wide expectations, and they're going to teach and reinforce positive behaviors. So that's really that first year of learning how to do all of this. In year 2, it's the whole idea is consistency and fidelity. They're going to refine the school-wide practices. They're going to strengthen the Tier 1 supports, and they're going to begin Tier 2 interventions. In year 3, it's more expansive, and they're going to expand those Tier 2 supports. They're going to develop targeted interventions for at-risk students, and they're going to deepen staff and family engagement. And then year 4, it's all about sustainability and Tier 3, and they want to maintain fidelity at all tiers, Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, implement individualized supports, and then integrate PBIS with our district MTSS and our equity goals. So this year, each school that we're going to be having, working with PBIS this year, we have Alhambra will be one school, and John Muir will be the other. And they will develop teams, and basically the teams at the school will be consisted of certificated staff, classified staff, students, parents, community supports. So it's really a whole school team that you want to have everybody represented. They'll monitor student behavior and climate data. They'll provide ongoing staff training and support. And then they'll coordinate with the district PBIS coaches and leadership. So the other part of this is that Martinez Junior High School has already completed the 4-year cohort, but this year they really want to, because a lot of people that were on the team have moved on and left the school, so they really want to use this year to continue it and use the PBS trainers as coaches and consultation. So the expected outcomes of the PBIS experience training is it's reduced suspensions and expulsions. We want to increase attendance rates. We want to improve school climate surveys, so for example, the California Healthy Kids Survey. We want to have stronger family and community engagement, and then higher academic achievement and equity across all groups. So a lot of the PBIS training in the beginning is really looking at data, and then it continues on with that. So what are they looking at? They're going to look at the discipline data with office referrals, suspension, and expulsions. They're going to look at attendance data, chronic absenteeism, and daily rates. They're going to look at the school climate data with the family surveys, academic data. They're going to link the PBIS with student achievement, and then they're going to integrate it into LCAP goals, WASC, and CSI reporting. So the core approach is really to build capacity year after year. Instead of trying to put this all in one year and have them roll it out, it's really year by year, and it's through 4 stages. So it's going to align with the MTSS and the social emotional learning initiatives, and we want to promote equitable discipline practices as well as create consistency across schools while honoring unique contexts. So if they're having it at Martinez Junior High School's PBIS school, when they move on to Alhambra, there'll be the same type of language and expectations. So looking ahead, this year, like I said, we're going to have Alhambra and John Muir begin year one. We'll have the junior high continuing on with the training, but they'll join one of the trainings with the other 2 sites, but there'll be a lot of coaching and consulting. We want to have a full rollout next year, so every school in the district is in a cohort for PBIS, building stronger climates, positive culture. We want sustainable systems that support both students and staff, and then we want to align with the state priorities and LCAP goals. So that's a very brief overview of a very big program, but if anyone has any questions, I can help you.
Hi, so I had a question. So I know it has been successful at the Martinez Junior High School. We've heard good things, but do you have actually the statistics of like how many expulsions or suspensions you had before and how many you have now? Do you have any data like that?
I don't have that data, but I certainly can get that. Tonight was just to kind of give an overview, but I can gather all that data.
Okay, I would just be interested
Yeah.
to see that because I know it's been very positive, but I actually haven't seen numbers. And so it sounds like you're having parents participate and students as well when they're rolling this out in the beginning, in the first year?
They can. The thing is that sometimes it's difficult to get, students will join, but maybe they won't go to all 4 of the cohorts. They do a great team would be having community members and parents, but it's not required. So really some of the teams, like at John Muir, they're going to have 2 classified, 3 certificated. Most likely they won't have a student at that level, but they're going to see if any of the parents want to join the team.
And how long is the training for the teachers? Are you getting a substitute for them so they don't?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes,
it's
that's in the
day
budget,
long?
that those teachers will be substitute. This year, we were looking at the PD days, but they were already scheduled, and there was a lot going on. But moving forward, we can schedule those around PD days as well.
Great, that was the next question I was going to ask, so good job, thank
And
you.
the other thing I know, the junior high, when they meet once a month as a team, they'll meet with that on a Wednesday. They'll incorporate that into their Wednesday early days, so they don't have to have substitutes for those.
Great, thank you. Questions?
I'm just glad that you are collecting data so that you can show us how effective the program is. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for putting together such a nice presentation.
Thanks, Patty. So you said that the junior high had already gone through the 4 cohorts. Does that mean that all of the high school students that went through the junior high are already familiar with this program?
They would be familiar with it, yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
with the language.
Nothing? Matthew, did you have any questions? No?
Nope.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Any public comment? No? Okay, thank you very much, Patty. Let's see. Oh, you're still up there. Okay. Next, you're up again. Children and Youth Behavioral Health Initiative, Teaching and Learning, Patty O'Malley.
Okay. So I'm just going to pull up my screen as well. So I have another big acronym for you here, too. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. So this initiative is called the Children and Youth Behavioral Health Initiative, and it's called CYBHI. So I'm going to go ahead and go through this again. It's an overview. It's actually really exciting, so I'm looking forward to telling you about what this initiative is, and I'll go ahead and just get started and add to it and answer your questions. So what CYBHI is, it's more than a $4 billion initiative that is transforming the way California supports children, youth, and families in schools. And this allows mental health counselors in schools to bill insurance companies. So this is all new, insurance companies for services, including one-on-one meetings with the mental health counselor, classroom presentations around mental health services, as well as social emotional learning. So what it's really focusing on is equity and accessibility focus, and it's really addressing the systemic barriers to wellness that students are not able to access mental health services a lot of times. And so this is what California is doing to take some of those barriers away, and we can bill all insurance companies and Medi-Cal for these services. And the goal is to ensure that youth can access their mental health services as well as substance abuse when and where they need it. And interestingly, research says that school-aged students get most of their mental health support from schools. They're really not getting it outside of schools as much as we would hope. So that's why this was put in place through California, through the data that they're receiving on mental health. It's youth and family driven. It was created for and by youth and families. It's a cross-sector partnership, so they're providing it in schools, in colleges, and also community-based programs that are helping with youth with mental health. And they're reimagining integrated youth-centered systems across all care of California. This is only a California initiative, and they really, from what I'm understanding, all the meetings I've been in and all the research I've done, they really are going to be the leader in this for other states. So what does it mean for us? So the state of California is investing in the youth mental health promotion, prevention, and access. So under CYBHI, health plans must reimburse schools for covered mental health services. There's no cost to families, there's no copays, there's no deductible, there's no out-of-pocket. They cannot be billed for any of it. It cannot have anything against them that this is going through their deductible or anything like that. There's no additional cost to Martinez Unified School District because we're using Paradigm, which is what we already have in place for special education. And it's giving more resources for Martinez students and families. So when we roll this out, and Joe, I don't know if you can click on maybe that top fee schedule program, we have a lot because it's taken a lot to get to the point where we are now, and I have to give a shout out to Stephanie and Teresa, but Stephanie has done all the background stuff as with all the capacity grant, which gave us money to create this and do all the work that we have to do. So when we are ready to roll this out to families, we will be giving them a lot of information, but kind of broken down information. So if Joe, you click on that top oh, that's okay. Well, I can just tell you what it is. It's a flyer. We have it in Spanish and English. We have it in brochure form and flyer form, and it's really just letting them know, what is this? It's not really complicated. This is amazing that we have this in California. Even Kaiser and all the other places where we may be referred through Carasalis, they have to take the billing. The thing that's going to hold it back is if the family has not consented to bill. And if you don't consent to bill, we can't bill. And I can go into that a little bit more later. Okay, so what's the potential? The only way payment can be denied is if the student does not have any health care. So they don't have any private health care, they don't have Medi-Cal. The good side of that is that can help us identify students that don't have Medi-Cal and don't have any insurance, and we can help link them to those services and help them to get onto some kind of plan. The services must be provided, so it can't be if a mental health counselor is going to see a student and they don't show up, we can't bill for that service. The provider, if the provider is not licensed or eligible to give the service, all of our counselors, both academic, psychs, and mental health counselors are licensed and eligible to give service. And now, this just came out, interns and trainees can bill for services as well. So that's huge. We have an intern right now, a trainee over at the junior high that's being supervised, and she can start billing for her services. So I just want to give some examples of what they can bill for. There's a number of codes. These are just a snapshot of a couple. Individual sessions, group, classroom presentations, and assessments like ACEs, which I'll explain. And to give you an idea, for like the billing code 90834, that's for a psychotherapy session, that's from 38 minutes to 52 minutes, they can bill almost $90. And so they're seeing kids a lot, and this can amount to a lot of money. Reimbursement for billing 96130 is for psychological testing, evaluations, and so you can bill for that as well. So I want to give us case study, and this was brought up in one of our meetings with the cohort. So the case studies with Nevada Joint Union High School, they're in cohort 1. We are in cohort 4. It's a small district, about 2,500 students, 300 staff members. So they presented and explained that they did a very slow rollout, and that really is what they're telling us is the best way to do it. We've talked to a lot of school districts that are doing this. Just slow, take your time so you can work out the quirks. And they realistically received a return of $150,000 in the first year of billing through CYBHI at a slow rollout. And all of that money goes to the district. It does not, so it goes to the fund. I'm not sure which fund, but it goes right back to the district. So where are we in the process? Well, all mental health counselors, academic counselors, school psychologists have been trained and received a certificate in administering the ACEs screening, which is the Adverse Childhood Experience Screening. Takes about 20 minutes to do that, and you're really just figuring out what kind of trauma that they've been through and where you can kind of help them. And they will get billed for every time they do one of those screenings. Counselors have been trained on how to bill for services on Paradigm. We've already had multiple trainings on that, and then Q&A questions with the representatives. Our district is in cohort 5, and we're one of the only schools in cohort 5 that is there's a couple of them that are really ready to go. We're ready to launch this. We created a one-page consent form, we haven't put it out yet, that gives consent to bill and to treat, which can be sent out for electronic signature. So to give an example right now, if a mental health counselor at the high school level, let's say, although over 12, they can consent for themselves. But if it's an elementary or a younger student at the junior high, they might send that consent home. It's a page hard copy. Well, it gets thrown in the backpack, and then it doesn't come back, and they can see the student one time, they cannot see him after. So a lot of time can go by trying to trace those back down. So through Parent Square, if this is a decision that we want to do, we can send it and have the consent to bill and consent to treat on one form. And we can have it electronically sent back to Stephanie and I, and we'll have those so that people know where they can bill. This is information that we put together that is just really going to be for families. It would be on our website, but we could also have this accessible to anybody. And it's just a quick, can you click on that one, Joe? No? Okay. So it is a web page, and it explains what CYBHI is. It tells the parents what resources are available to them so they can understand it. And then we have a FAQ page that really breaks it down. Everything to who can bill, can my student, put in for billing, breaks it all the way down. And so there's really no disadvantage, I think, from my perspective, to doing this. So that would be a page that we would put on the website, so it's right there, so we can see what it is. So that's CYBHI.
That's a wonderful program. I'm very excited about that. So you think we're going to roll this out starting next year, January, or that's still in the works?
Well, we're ready.
Okay.
So it would just be a matter of when Dr. Patrick and we want to look at it and get started on it. Because they're already providing these services. They're already providing for free. We can bill up to 6 months. So I'm having all the mental health counselors just keep track of who they're seeing. And again, if we don't have the consent to bill, we can't bill. Now, the academic counselors can bill, but they'll be billing in less. And what that means, if they go into a classroom and they're doing a social emotional learning, and it's a classroom of 30, a presentation or something, and 30 of those kids are in there and 15 are consent to bill, they can bill on those 15 kids.
That's great. And I guess you haven't worked out the kinks yet, but they're going to have time to do the billing so it doesn't make them have a longer work day or anything like that.
Yes, we've reviewed all that. The billing is literally 2 minutes. It's click, click, click. It's really, they've already tried it. We've done some, we've got a great representative through Paradigm, has taught them, and it's very quick. They're not, at first they were concerned, but when they tried it, they said they're not concerned. It's very quick.
Okay. And do we know, because in the past when we've had budget reductions and stuff, we've had to, look at that. So I'm assuming when it's full blown, they may actually be covering their positions, right? I mean, if you can bill 150,000, I don't know how many, if that was one person, two people, or what, but.
Can Andy respond?
Oh,
Yeah, I was
Andy
gonna
can
say, I'll let
certainly,
Andy
yes,
respond to that
yes,
one.
of course he can.
I can tell you that in these positions, a person may be up to $200,000 for total compensation. And I saw the example, we're just not sure at this point in time of what that's going to bring in. I think the potential is there. It's going to take us looking at what some of those returns are early on to be able to project out if it's going to be something that can stabilize and to what point we can provide those services versus reductions. And so there'll be a larger conversation. We're hoping that by the time we get to that conversation in the early part of next year that we'll be able to have more information to go on.
Perfect. Well, I, for one, hope that we roll that out sooner rather than later. Okay, questions?
I just want to say thank you. I think last time I was at Vicente, we talked about this quite a bit, so I'm excited to see it come back. And from what I'm hearing, there was no funding for it, so at least it's something to help support our counselors. So, yeah, I'm just excited for when it comes back and gets rolled out school by school, and I want to thank you guys for all the hard work you put in.
Thank you. I have a quick question. So could you clarify, you're going to send these consents out through Parent Square to every family or to just targeted families that are receiving DIS counseling or something right now?
So this is something we haven't quite worked out yet. We have to kind of talk about it in counseling, but right now, sending it out to everybody I don't think would be a good idea, but starting by sending them out to the families that we are seeing, and then eventually the goal is to have it a uniform blanket that we ask everyone to fill out, because they're already putting their insurance money in, so it's really a document that doesn't make a big deal if you sign it. So we're hoping at some point that that's where we'll go with it.
Thank you so much for all the work that you and Stephanie did to get this going. Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Yes, thank you both. This is exciting. So I'm looking at your, I think the 6th slide where it says potential at the top, and it says payment can only be denied if. So I'm foreseeing somebody that deals with medical insurance companies a lot in my day job. They can't come back and say, that's not a service that we thought that student needed, or there's no diagnosis, they have no say in it whatsoever, as long as the parent or the student consents. Is that right?
That's right. and the mental health counselors don't obviously put notes in areas and things like that. It's very private. But through Paradigm, they do put the codes in, and they cannot deny it.
Okay, great.
Because we had to get like NPI numbers and license numbers and everything and upload all those to Paradigm. So they know that they're legit, they've checked them out. So they can't be, unless, like I said, if someone tried to bill and they never saw the student, or
Right, right.
a
Okay.
teacher tried to bill or something like that, I think it would be pushed back, but otherwise, no.
Okay, great. And I just wanted to clarify, because Logan said when we bring this back, this isn't something that's coming back to the board, right? We don't have to vote on this. We're just going to roll it out when it's ready to be rolled out.
I would send
Am
that
I-
back to,
To maybe Dr. Patrick. Did you hear my question?
You were asking if we have to bring it back?
Yeah, this isn't
To-
an action item that we need to vote on, is it? It's just something that we can take advantage of this law and do it.
I believe that we may have to, because we might be billing and collecting funds, but
Okay.
if we do, we wouldn't have to present. We would just bring it to you, and it would be in the form of an action item and go from there.
Okay.
But I believe we may be good to go, but I want to check because this will be new, us doing this, and so I want to make sure we dot our i's and cross our t's so we don't have any issues down the road.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
And I would just like to say that, is there any way that when you do roll it out that we can see, can you give us the numbers, or can you let us know, looking back 6 months, what the income would have been from it, just from curiosity purposes?
yes, we can look at that. It may not be that we'll be able to bill that unless we get those consents to bill, but we can look and do like a kind of a rough of what it would look like.
Perfect, yeah. And I think it's, eventually you can probably do it with when they enroll their student at the beginning of the year, have that be a form
Yeah,
that you do for
that's what
everything
we're
else.
hoping.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it because you were signing lots of things at that point in time, so, okay. Matthew, did you have any questions?
No, I'd just like to say it sounds like an amazing program, and I think it's great. It's like an easy way to reduce stress on our budget, you know? Just sounds pretty great all around.
Well, and it's great for kids too, yeah, so they have some support there.
Yeah.
Perfect, well, thank you very much. Any public comments? No? Okay,
Okay,
thank you very much.
thank you.
Okay, superintendent's report is next.
Yes. Well, first, I'd like to acknowledge that MUSD celebrates Native American Heritage Month. So want to really emphasize and highlight that. I'm also excited to share a few updates about some really wonderful happenings across the district. And to begin, I want to express a heartfelt appreciation to many of our school partners whose unwavering support continues to uplift our students, educators, and community. Big shout out to MEF for the continued commitment to literacy and libraries. For the 25-26 school year, the Martinez Education Foundation, affectionately known as MEF, has proudly committed to the readathon funds, readathon funds to maintain current staffing levels across the district libraries, ensuring students continue to benefit from consistent access to library resources and support. Additionally, the MEF awarded $2,000 in grant funds to each elementary school library specifically for new books. We are really excited to share that most of those orders have already been fulfilled and that students are beginning to enjoy the fresh additions to their collections. And then lastly, MEF allocated over $25,000 to fully fund the district's early literacy and phonics program, Sunday. And of course, I've been visiting classrooms, and it's really nice to see the students using the program. I saw it today at one of our visits, so really excited to see students taking advantage of these educational resources to help improve their academic outcomes. This program, the Sunday program, has been the cornerstone of literacy instruction across multiple sites for several years. And by assuming this cost, MEF has effectively freed up funds in the district's budget, allowing for greater flexibility in supporting other educational priorities. So again, I just want to say thank you. As well as the team and I have been visiting school sites for the last few weeks. We are still checking boxes in terms of the sites. We haven't been everywhere to visit classrooms, but we have been to most of the elementary sites. We will finish visiting elementary sites this week and also plan to visit our junior high. And I just want to say it's really amazing to go through the campus and see, students are in their classes and they're learning and they're actively engaged. I've rarely been into a classroom where students weren't participating or seem distracted, or they are really there. The lessons and the objectives that are being taught appear to be at grade level standards, and I'm just really excited to continue the visits and to just spend more time in the classrooms than I do in this building. So it is an honor and a privilege to visit, and I just want to commend the teachers for what I'm seeing and the site leaders. It's just been really great. And this concludes my report. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Trustee Masala O'Brien, do you want to start us on board reports?
Yeah, the only thing I was going to say is that I believe that the AHS Drama Club play opens Wednesday night, The Man Who Came to Dinner, and I'm planning to attend. I'm excited. They always put on a great show, so I'll report back next time.
Great.
So last week, Trustee Campbell and I attended the career fair at the Martinez Adult School, and it was phenomenal. It was packed. There wasn't even standing room. They had so many different booths, the medical industry, the trades. Martinez Unified School District had a table. And I just want to recognize all the hard work that it took from Director Murphy and her staff and others in the district to bring it together. And I think that just the amount of people that showed up shows what a great service it was to our community. They also brought in other school districts. So there were buses of other kids that came in, and I'd like to see it all happen again. I also want to congratulate our drum majors, color guard, and band for their blue ribbon performances on October 25th. They are raking in the accolades, and I'm very, very proud of that. And the community should be proud of that too, because they fund our arts and music program. And finally, I will be joining you in seeing The Man Who Came to Dinner. I've already got my tickets, so hopefully other people can join us. Thank you.
So you already covered the college and career, and again, I'll also thank MAE for just having such a huge turnout. I mean, I think it was over 700 people. I asked the director if she thought she might get a second one in the year, and it might be hopeful wishes, but I hope they're able to pull it off again. Also, this Wednesday, there's a curriculum committee here at 3:15 in this room, so if you want to hear what's going on with that, come check it out. I was also able to attend Friends Fest, where they honored former Superintendent Helen Rossi. I can report out she looks very well rested. And Nikki was there, Brenda Leal, and I think there was at least 3 or 4 other past trustees that showed up, and yeah, it was well deserved. She got the Citizen of the Year award. We also, me and Trustee President, had the joint meeting with the City Council here in this room. What was it, last week, I think?
It was on Monday. Yeah,
Monday,
last Monday.
yeah. And there was a lot talked about with the walk and roll program and how it's going to roll out to more schools, either this year or upcoming year. We talked about emergency preparedness, joint outreach, school facility updates, safe routes, and traffic safety. And I want to thank them for their $25,000 contribution towards a crossing guard. And one last thing is the bullpups We'll be hosting a casino night Saturday, November 15th at 6 p.m. You can probably find more information about it on Facebook, and it'll be at the Winslow Center.
You took all the stuff I was going to say, but okay. Yeah, the subcommittee meeting was last Monday, and I do want to definitely thank the city for the $25,000 ongoing commitment to for a crossing guard at the junior high. So we are very thrilled about that, and hopefully that gets implemented sooner rather than later. But they committed that to be ongoing. So, and it was actually, it came out of the police chief's budget. So I really want to thank the police chief for that. I mean, the city also, obviously, but it came out of his budget specifically. So that was great. What else? Oh, yeah, and the plays this week, which everybody mentioned. I'm going to go on Friday, though. I never go. I like Friday night. And I think that's it. So yeah, I hope everybody had a wonderful Halloween. I hope you didn't get crazy with the candy. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We do not need any more public comments because we didn't have any. And we do not need to go to closed session. So future board and agenda items, we don't have any of those. So we are, wow, adjourning again early at 7:28 p.m. Thank you. Good night.